Okay, so welcome everyone to the shop. Let me give you a little update on the ride. At this point in the project, we have reached a phase that Cody and I call catastrophic failure. What that means is there's an effect that we've been working on that is proving to not do what we wanted it to do. And in this case, it is the 3D. The trouble that we're having is the glasses, the 3D glasses, they need to pick up a left and right image. And because 90% of this ride takes place in space, where there is nothing but darkness, the glasses are having an extremely hard time finding a left and right image. And it's creating a very blurry, glitchy illusion. It's not looking right. So what we're going to do, our solution, is we are going to cut the 3D from the ride. But that's okay, because we are going to now project a 4K 2D image. So the screen is going to be massive, crystal clear. It's going to look really nice. And everything else is still staying the same. We're still going space battle. We're still keeping our characters and our story. We are just changing from 3D to 2D. But we don't want this ride to feel like you're just watching a movie. That's not exciting. So Cody and I have a new piece of technology that we are going to use that is going to allow you to feel what it would be like to be an astronaut. Okay, so we're going to be using this. This is the Woozer vest. And what the Woozer vest is a haptic suit that you wear that has a bunch of these really powerful speakers built into it. It allows you to feel the sound. So when this spaceship takes off, you are going to feel the rumble of that ship in your chest. It's going to be shaking. When you see the laser battle, every laser blast, you are going to feel it. Every explosion, you will feel it. When a ship flies by you, the whole thing is going to shake. Cody, feel me. Feel it.
I can see it.
What is also fantastic about this is it uses Dolby surround sound. And Cody and I have a way of controlling the direction of the sound. So if we want a sound effect to hit you in your left shoulder, we can do that. If we want to hit you from behind on your right, we can do that. If we want to impact your chest straight on, we can do that.
Holy
Really cool. And honestly, I am more excited about this than I was the 3D. So I'm kind of thrilled that we had a catastrophic failure. I am not going to be building this alone. I am going to be bringing my friend Mike on board. Mike is an incredibly talented photographer, choreographer, set designer, light designer, sound designer. I honestly think this man has had every job and has done everything.
Hello. Today we're making spaceships. So as I stated in a previous video, I'm going to be using After Effects, specifically a third-party plugin called Element 3D from videocopilot.net. Now with these spaceships, I'm going to be kitbashing essentially. So I've been collecting assets, 3D models, fire effects, all that stuff. Every Black Friday, every sales opportunity for the last decade, I've been piecing everything together. So let's dive in. So I started off with the good guy ship. Now I kind of had a base knowledge of what I wanted to do, so I started with the simple shapes. And I'm not gonna lie, even when I saw this, I felt like it looked a little phallic. So in Mark II, by the way, I use Mark for two reasons. One, it's very annoying to write draft over and over again, and 2, I like Iron Man. So in Mark II, I definitely shortened up the body a little bit. I started adding some of the textures that I felt like I was going to be using. I was trying to go with like a dirty white material so that it was more clean looking for the good guys. Now in Mark III, that is when I showed it to my girlfriend and she mentioned that it looked like a 1950s vibrator. She's not wrong. I realized at that point I needed to really overhaul it. In Mark IV, that's when you really start to see it take shape. I switched that elongated phallic shape to a box. I shortened it up even a little bit more. And then that's when the background started coming into play. I started thinking about if these ships were, say, cars. A vehicle that's being purchased for the sake of, helping people get from point A to point B. It would be like a decommissioned Crown Victoria. So I tried to make it look like a ship where all of the parts that would be fragile are kind of coated in plate metal. Mark V. Now it's really taken shape. That idea of it being like a car really helped me to kind of start streamlining all of the things, just adding more panels that slightly came away from the original shape so it looked like it had more pieces holding it together. And now we come to the final, Mark VI. Now I coated over the guns with some plated metal. I covered up the legs so that they're protected by metal. Basically everything on it is protected by a sheet of metal of some kind. I'm feeling good. I think I realized afterwards that it ended up looking like a baby Nostromo from Aliens. Now that I had that car concept in my head, I could really start running with it. So for the bad guys, I kind of imagined if you were pirates in space, you'd be stealing your vehicle, so you would more than likely steal the space version of an 18-wheeler. An 18-wheeler and one of those Arctic snowmobiles. Oh, look at that, I even left the stars in the foreground. Good move, Cody. Once I kind of had that idea in mind, I started diving right into the materials. I knew we wanted to go with different types of metal, rusted, because they've been out in space. Pirates are not exactly capable of docking at any space station, so it's going to be very worn and beat up. But now, if pirates stole something, they would obviously decorate it to look meaner, so I really started focusing on making the guns look like they were an aftermarket item from possibly another ship that they stole. They started attaching things onto it. When I got to Mark IV, if you're a bad guy, you have even more guns than the good guy would have. Mark V, still adding on layers upon layers. I was just trying to beef up that body to not make it look like a cube with legs. And finally, Mark VI. Now it's looking mean. It's got the little pieces of metal sticking off the top. It's got the spikes sticking out the front, really looking like a Mad Max Fury Road type vehicle. And let's talk Mothership. I think before I even got started, I kind of had it in mind that I wanted the ship to look like the Statesman ship from the ending of Thor Ragnarok. And in Mark I, it basically just looks like an I-beam with a window. Which it basically is. Alright, Mark II. Just kind of started adding layers on top. I wanted the ship to look fatter and a little bit thicker, as if there were multiple levels going up it. Mark III, it's kind of taken on, I think I was starting to realize it needed to look more like an aircraft carrier. So that was a big thing, is it would be carrying all of those little bad guy ships somewhere on its person. Alright, Mark IV, we start adding the spikes. I'm basically thinking like, if you ever seen Serenity or Firefly, those guys are always attaching different pieces to the outsides of their ships. I wanted it to look very daunting. You do not want to mess with this ship if it came overhead. And in Mark V, we finally start having the ship come overhead to kind of give it that massive feel. If you also notice, I started adding on some guns, some missile launchers on top, the watchtowers on top. The thrusters, you could very clearly tell, those angled thrusters are a straight bite off of the Nebuchadnezzar from the Matrix. Now with Mark VI, See, now I've got the Nostromo in one ship, I got the Nebuchadnezzar in another, now I also added the Close Encounters of the Third Kind lights going on. Added on another layer up top, again, to kind of give it more of like a, maybe on top of the aircraft carrier, there's an area where the ships take off, there's like a boarding area. I did add more guns on the sides. I tried to keep the guns only being a little bit bigger than the guns that are on the small ships, because I wanted you to kind of get that sense of scale. Overall, this got me super excited to dive into the actual story of this. I want to get to animating, but I can't start animating without the story, so until then, I'd say we're gonna see you next time when we start working on both the cockpit that the rider will be in and the cockpit that the captain and his sidekick will be in as well. So we will see you next time. Like and subscribe.